Now we start season number 2 of the Venezia Takeover. So we have some transfers, we have a change of tactic, and potentially a P45 in the post. I'm not even joking, I could already be sacked in this series. But before we do that, this video is being sponsored by Royal CD Keys. Pick yourself up a new game or a Windows 11 key using my link down in the description for a very special discount. Thank you very much. Yes, welcome back to Venezia. Now we're on the staff page because I just want to show you I filled out some more of the staff roles. I need to add more coaches to it. That is definitely something that is going to be on the agenda for this season because we have started raising this. We can see we're not nowhere near the highest, but obviously reputation stuff is going to be required and wages to pay these guys before we can start to look at the highest average in Serie A. But the main thing is the scouts recruitment analysis and stuff like that was happening over the weekend and over this pre-season, sorry, not the weekend. And scouting wise, we have done our own assignments. We've done them a lot better. We've got scouts going to Africa. We're doing the youth leagues, of course, because of course we're only signing players up to 23 across different continents and different competitions in different countries. North America being another one as well. A bit of a hot prospect, I think, for cheap players in Mexico and some of the US as well. So yeah, that's basically what we have going on in behind the scenes, behind the team. But I mean, transfers, then results. We'll go transfers first so you don't get spoiled. Now, we do have one guy joining in 2 years' time. The reason for that is I could not pass up this when my scout brought him to my attention. It's Dragoslav Vazovic. He looks great. He just 16 years of age, Serbian for 250k. I think this is not really much of a gamble. I think this is going to be a great signing for us. Either way, we'll profit by selling him or we can use him and he will be a decent player. But 15 in dribbling and finishing to begin with. I mean, his technicals are great already. Jovial personality, it's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. So yeah, 2 years' time, he'll be joining. But we have broke the all-time transfer record for Venezia, and we've been very busy in the summer. Now, we can see a few names here. Obviously, Cayenne was a guy that we automatically signed straight away. Del Prato was a guy we signed on a free transfer we already knew about. And Scalvini, who was the all-time record transfer for us, £4 million for Scalvini. But we've broke that again with Andreas Sheldrup, £5.75 million. He's a very good player, isn't he? I mean, I love his hair. It's fantastic. 18 years of age, Norwegian. I'm sure you guys have probably used him before on your saves because he's great. He really is. We've got him from Bodo Glimt, Nordsjælland, sorry, who originally come through Bodo Glimt. He hasn't played that much football and he hasn't done that well to begin with. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and change things around. Personally, I felt like on that left-hand side, we didn't really have a good player last season. He was creating a lot of chances for our strikers. That's maybe why we weren't scoring a lot of goals. That's why I brought him in. Very good creative player. This is arguably my favourite player that we've brought in though, Cameron Puertes. Mid-pre-season, I felt like I had a chat. Well, this guy came through. He's 24 now. We signed him when he was 23. I was looking for a player with great work rate who can press the ball really well in that midfield, and that is this guy. 16 aggression we know is what we kind of want for pressing. That stamina and natural fitness of 16, great agility, so he can buzz around the pitch quite well. Decent amount of pace as well, 13 and 12 for that. Dives into tackles, which is not the best, I guess, for player traits, but still not the worst. But the teamwork and work rate of 16 and 17 and great determination. He kind of has everything that I want for a really good pressing ball winner in that centre midfield role and a tackle in the 14 as well. Not to mention, he's quite nifty on the ball. So he's a player I've never really heard of, and he comes from Lausanne Sport, £3.5 million. I'm really happy with that signing. I think he's fantastic and really suits the kind of DNA that I want to bring into the club. Mohamed Diamande is very similar to that in regards to a player that will be a bit more creative for us, but he does have very similar roles in that regard. Now, he plays in a number of different positions. Another reason why I've signed him. He has a great potential on the game. He's in the 160 potential range. Hopefully we get the better side of that. 15 for dribbling is obviously his highlight, and 15 for flair. So going forward, he's fantastic carrying the ball, great technique, but he also great first touch and passing ability, and things like work rate and teamwork is quite high. 13s, I like that. I do like that a lot. Great physicals, and his player traits is probably what tipped me over for the reason why when I seen him, I sold a player to get him, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Gets forward whenever possible and tries killer balls often. Two of the best player traits for me that I want in this role as an advanced centre midfielder. So yeah, he comes in from Nordsjælland as well, £2.5 million. It was a release clause signing. Now, goalkeeper-wise, of course, we lost Sergio Romero. I brought in Lucas Canizares, which is Santiago Canizares, I think his name was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Canizares, quite a legendary goalkeeper from Spain. He is his son. In fact, it should say it here. Santiago. It was Santiago. So that is his son. We brought him in from Real Madrid on a loan deal. We do have an optional future fee should we wish. £4.4 million is optional. I will see about that because goalkeepers I'm struggling with. Now we have rated Leeds as well. So we've also signed 2 players from Leeds. Joe Gelhardt being a loan signer, which I think is fantastic. A great striker. Pressing forward. We'll get to this why I've signed him. And Alessandro Bugo. Don't know. He's Italian anyway. Good centre-back. Hasn't started well. In fact, he's been awful for us. And I think his average rating will be 6.53 average rating. Is absolutely dreadful. So on the outs then, Dor Peretz was the guy that I sold to bring in Diomande. Because yes, he's good, but he's 27. I felt like we had a few teams wanting him. I felt like we could improve that with Diomande by letting him go and bringing in Diomande, so that was the reason for that. Now, tactically, originally I switched to this, which was a 4-3-3, very similar to the season number 1, which was this, but a few different roles changing, like a ball winner midfielder there for the centre midfielder we bought. Changing that to a DM because we can kind of adapt more of his instructions instead of being very restricted. Change it to 2 ball playing defenders because I felt like we were just giving the ball away too quickly, and an inside forward on the right and a winger on the left. However, results have not been too kind for us and I could be sacked. In fact, they've been awful. We've only won the cup game against a team which we have never even heard of, and they're probably nowhere near us in regards to standard, but it has not been pretty at all. 4-0 against Fiorentina, 2-0 against Napoli, a 7-1 loss against Lazio after a player getting sent off in the 7th minute. Even a loss to this team, we should not be losing to that team. They have like the worst pitch in history. Juve, a 2-4. Now this is where things start to change. At the Juve game, in fact, no, it's here. We started to change things around from that 4-3-3 into what we are playing now, and I have a little bit more hope for that. So Juve, 2-4 loss there, and a 3-4 loss to Inter Milan with a 91st minute penalty from Lautaro Martinez, which crushed our dreams after we equalised quite late on in the 89th. Okay, now I mentioned the tactic. We've changed to this. I'm calling it Feed the Poacher. It is a tactic that I have created myself, which you will see in an upcoming rebuild because I've used it in a rebuild which has already been recorded. So I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but obviously I am using it, so it mustn't be too bad, right? The idea of it is very much in the title. It feeds the poacher. We have 2 pressing forwards who will look to go wide, but they are very direct in their passing, trying to get the ball to our main man up front, who is also shoot more often. We got 2 centre midfielders on automatic. That will change, obviously, if we're playing the game and we go to attacking, there'll be more attacking. We go to defence, there'll be more defence. But it allows us to change the instructions around, and you can see here more direct passes, shoot less often, gets further forward, moves into the channels and close down more. So although we're looking quite narrow, we do have a lot of options who will move out into those channels should we need them to. Close down more, of course, we're playing around with the pressing styles again. Now we've changed deep line playmaker to an anchor man on defend. More direct passing, for instance, close down less. We want him to stick there, as well as our 2 centre-backs. We want him to stay still, really. We don't want him to be like bombing on and then get caught out in regards to pressing. And of course, Mike Taito, if he's in that role and has somebody around him. 1 ball playing defender on defend and 1 centre defender on cover. It seems to work quite well, and 2 fullbacks on automatic because it allows us to kind of adapt anything we wish, and you can see the instructions here. We are trying to bomb down across from the byline using width here, but they are also cutting inside with the ball. It's weird, but it kind of works. We'll see what happens with the sweeper keeper on defend. Now, it's a positive mentality, and we can see these are instructions here that you can see. It is a gegenpress. We've come away from what it was before, where we weren't countering. We are trigger press more often, but not a lot selected, and I do think since we changed to that, with these 3 results here, things have changed a little bit. So the 6-0, the 2-4 and the 3-4, we're starting to score more goals. We are feeding feeding it to the poacher. But we have a very heavy season, of course. Now, I am going to secure these roles in when we do simulate, and we are going to come back before the World Cup. We're going to come back for the Torino game in October, and then that will be what we'll play for the end of this episode. But yeah, this is not looking great, is it? And we do take a look at the club vision. We are on a C+, but we are also 20th in the league with 0 points and a minus 18 goal difference. Only Brescia is anywhere close to us with minus 17. We need to win 2 games before we're even out of relegation zone. It's quite embarrassing, really. But okay, let's simulate and see how we do up into that Torino game. Okay. Hello, Luke. First question. Do you feel under pressure? I mean, results haven't gone our way, yes. We have had a difficult start, though, with fixtures. Not that it's an excuse, but we are working hard to turn things around. You've broke the record transfer for the club in the summer, bringing in a defender, and yet you've conceded 24 goals already in 6 games. Thoughts? I think you're being harsh on an 18-year-old Scalvini, who, yes, was our all-time record signing for the club at £4 million, when clubs like Inter Milan have spent 73 million. Luke, do you think you'll make it till Christmas? I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you. Okay, we're back. 30th of October 2022. Things are looking a little bit better. A little bit better than what they were. I can see a win there already. So let's take a look at the schedule then. Of course, we left you at the Inter Milan game. We played Brescia next. That would have been ideal to win, but we didn't. We had a player sent off straight away. Again, it cost us, but they also had a player sent off late. 1-1 draw. Not great. Atalanta, a 3-0 loss at home. But then we finally got our just desserts. A 5-0 away win to Crotone. Is this when it's switched around? I think so. A Udinese 2-1 win as well at home, which is a difficult one because they're actually doing quite well this season, I believe. 20th minute and a 40th minute goal there by Forte and Busio. But then Benevento, it was a weird result. Like, I don't know. Again, another red card in 1 minute. We're not like tackling too hard, I'm sure. It's not selected for us to be tackling too hard. It isn't. So I don't understand why we keep getting red cards. But that probably cost us because then they scored in the 5th minute. It just like it's so annoying. Roma, another 3-2 loss and another red card, this time in the 95th minute. And again, it wasn't too bad because it is our backup striker, but still it is very annoying to be missing these players. But a 3-1 win against Hellas Verona puts us back on track for today's game. Okay, so let's get into that game. Right, so this is the team that we're going to play. Now, there's something that I need to bring up because I'm so confused with the rules here in Italy, because 2 non-EU players that we have signed in the summer, Joe Gelhardt and Diamonde, we could not register. I don't know why, because we don't have any other non-EU players. You can literally see my team here, and we could not register them because they are extra non-EU. And I don't know who is the other non-EU players in our team. There's nobody. You can see here, there's absolutely nobody other than Diamonde and Joe Gelhardt. Where is the other 2 non-EU players? If you know, then I kind of thought I was starting to understand the rules here in Italy, but it's really off-putting doing the save in Italy when this happens, and it's really frustrating. I just don't get it. I don't get all the rules from it. I know, like, if you sell, you shouldn't sell to another Italian club, a non-EU player. You should be selling abroad so that it takes them out of the league, which gives you that slot. But if I don't have any non-EU players, why can't I sign 2? I know that the rule is 2 per season, because now it means we have to go until January without Diamonde, without Joe Gelhardt, and I don't know. I don't even know if we can register them in January. But anyway, rant aside, this is the team we're going to go with the feed the poacher role. Kian and Busio in midfield there. Those are going to be the 2 players that we hope can carry the ball from the midfield to the attack so we can start feeding the poacher. Now, I consider us to be in quite good form recently, winning 3 out of our last 2. But how are Torino doing? They're very similar. They won 2, drew 1 in their last 5. And they have a good team, I guess. We can see the Serie A here. I mean, Torino, they're just above us with 4 points. So a big win here, I think, is so important. I'd be quite gutted again with a draw. So hopefully I have a bit more of an exciting game for you today and see how this goes. Make sure you're smashing that like button on this series if you are still enjoying it, because I am very much enjoying trying something new on the channel. Now, it's been a good start. We've had better of the statistics, and the heat map suggests that we have got them pinned right back on the edge of their area. area, and that highlight kind of suggested that too. They've cleared the ball long, and they're starting to walk out now. But again, as soon as we get the ball and start carrying it, we're pushing them back in. Kyan's had a good shot. That's very dodgy from the goalkeeper. Very, very dodgy indeed. Well, we will take a corner from it. I don't think anything's going to come of it. It's one of those corners really where you just head it in. Yeah, nothing's going to come of it. I think the chance was the shot itself. It's disappointing. Obviously, it's a weak effort. Haps maybe. Busio, the highlight still continues. Maybe something will come of it. Maybe I am wrong. It doesn't happen very often, viewers. It really doesn't. Busio to Haps. We still have the ball here. He's been taken down. It's a bad challenge. It's a yellow card. Please, referee. That's got to be a yellow. He's given this. That's not a yellow card. That's very poor from you. Free kick from Maramu. Very far out. Very much doubt. He scored it. Oh my God. There I was saying, very much doubt he would do anything from it. This keeper is terrible. This keeper is awful. I'm going to have to check, because if it's some kind of like grayed out goalkeeper or he's just that bad, we're going to have to start shooting on sight, because that is so bad. Milinkovic-Savic's brother. He's not actually that bad either. You can see it's Sergei's brother, but he is awful. That was a terrible 2 mistakes that he made there. But yeah, you can see the heat map. We are so pressed high at the pitch. They are not. And we've been dominating statistics. It was a great start for us. Right, so that's half time. That puts us 1 point currently behind Torino, and a lot better season at the start than what it would look if we can hold on to this. I mean, I'd be so disappointed now from the position that we're in if we do drop any points, because we have been dominant. I mean, the goal was a little bit lucky, we know that, but we are playing well. We're playing very well, and they are not. They're very deep in their area. They're not having that many shots or any substantial shots. A very low XG, and it just seems to be trugging along. 62nd minute already here. Not much is happening. We need to make some substitutes in a sec. Now, this would be perfect to bring on somebody like Diamande, but we don't have that option for some reason. The FM gods hate us. So I think we take off Forte. He's having a bit of a quiet one there. And Kian, maybe we'll take him off. We've got Bjarkson, who we can bring in there. Really want to make any other changes as of yet. I don't really trust a lot of these players yet because of that pre-season with how bad they really were. So, I mean, I played the pre-season until I simulate, and the year was not pretty. It was very, very hard to watch my team get absolutely obliterated, 4-0, 7-1, whatever it was, against some of these Serie A clubs. It's going to take a while, of course, before we start challenging the teams at the top, but I didn't expect us to just get absolutely destroyed, because last season that didn't really happen. We know we didn't concede that many. Sheldrup there to Haps. Scalvini. Remember, he's only 18. A lot to learn from Scalvini. Good ball to Busio. This is where we could get caught out. Torino on the counter-attack. Of course, I don't think they got Belotti anymore. They've sold him. Carozo's in. You've given away a penalty. This guy who has given away the penalty, I mentioned at the start of the video, has been terrible for us. From Leeds United, on loan. It's such a bad decision. He's got a yellow card. We need Canizares to make a big save now. And he doesn't. It's slotted in. It's the 82nd minute. I'm so gutted with that. I'm so gutted with that. He's been so poor, Alessandro. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. He's been so poor from what I've seen of him. Every single game. Right, I need to do something about this, because that is just, it's frankly just not good enough. It really is not good enough. So let's bring on you and pop you out onto the wing. I mean, he's a good defender, look. He's at great positioning. I don't see what the downside is. He's just been terrible. You can play on the left. Let's put him out there, out of danger. Let's move these to more of an attacking press. A little bit further up, maybe. We'll go to more of an attacking mentality. And if we start pressing the directness there, hitting these early crosses, but maybe we'll give them a bit of a whip. We'll whip these crosses in a little bit more and just see what happens. We'll up the trigger press there and get stuck in. Press higher up the pitch and using that offside trap. I always believe when you have tactics like this now to have something where you can up it, just like we have done there. The pressing wasn't high enough or wasn't as to the maximum, so we've got the option, if we need a goal, to press further. There's a good ball. It's unlucky. Oh, it's not to be. Busio, we're quite far out. There's camera. Can we go a little bit closer in? Jesus Christ. A little bit scroll there. We need to go a bit closer in. Okay, it's not long left, though. We need something. Please. We need something here. 87th minute. We cannot accept that that is a good result. We just cannot. Not from the point that we are at. God, it's so bad. It's so bad. And yet, our front three played well. Midfield played quite well. We are unlucky. It's just one mistake. And I hate that. I hate that so much when it's cost you a game. But we're going to have games like this at the start of this series. We really are. Of course, now it is the Qatar World Cup, which obviously is crap. I hate it. But if we take a look at the schedule then, we're going to come back at the end of January, see if we could do anything at January, and we're going to be playing either the Fiorentina match or the Salernitana match, which I really struggle to say. They beat us 3-0 last time, remember, and of course, Fiorentina, they stuffed us 4-0. So one of those two games, we can kind of see how have we developed throughout the season, and if we bring anybody in during January, I mean, we take a look at our transfer budget, there isn't one. We'd have to sell to buy, but maybe we can register Diamonde. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But I'll see you then for that episode tomorrow. No, it won't be. It'll be next week. Next Wednesday. So obviously these have been coming out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Same again next week. Season number 2, part 2, episode number 4 will be next week. Bye-bye.